Hey, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Corey Stones, and I want to get with you today about an educational seminar that I attended, and it was pretty interesting. So, you probably heard of Kevin O'Leary or Mr. Wonderful. He's one of the Shark Tank people that is a regular on that show. He's involved in a lot of different investments, and he does a lot of different things when it comes to diversifying his money. So I was attending an event today, and he was the headline speaker. Unfortunately, I did not get to hear him speak. I actually had to leave early and attend to some other customer meetings and things, but I did get to hear the people that were with him speak. And the information was very valuable, and I thought that I would share it here. All the guys that he had speaking, which another guy by the name of Jeff Tomasillo, I believe was his name, another highly respected financial advisor, someone that's on television a lot giving his opinion in that industry. So they were all talking about how, they've made their money in untraditional tactics and how they have followed certain steps and certain strategies that apply to their investments. And one of the things that one of the speakers was talking about today is he was talking about education. And they put a lot of emphasis on education. So they broke down education into two generic categories. The first category being general education, and the second category being specific education. General education is the education that you learn in an institution, right? At a public school or at a university. And the specific education is the education that you go out and you get yourself. And that may be education that you learn on YouTube. That may be education that you learn in a specific trade class or specific trade school. That may be education that you get in the field. But really, general education and specific education was the points of the topic that they were making. And much of what they were talking about was understanding that if you want to manage your wealth and manage risks, which is really what this conference was about, you need to identify first things that you want to improve on. And then after identifying those things that you want to improve on, you need to go out and educate yourself through specific education tactics so that you can apply that education and improve on the areas that you've identified. So it was a really pretty easy, simple 3-step strategy, right? Identifying what those areas are you want to improve on, and then educating yourself through specific education on those areas, and then applying what you've learned to improve those things that you've identified. And so although that sounds like a very simple concept, right? Very easy to understand when you're talking about it this way, it's the single most largest barrier that people have when it comes to actually getting off their butt and doing something. And the example was given today at the conference of the analogy of how many times have you heard someone say, well, I'm not willing to learn that. I'm not interested in learning that. Or I'm not willing to spend the time and the money to learn that. And by doing and saying that, they're basically identifying that whatever it is they're talking about, they're not interested in learning, therefore they're never going to be good at it. And so, or they're never going to understand it. So if you have areas in your life, specifically what this conference was referring to was wealth management and financial investments. So under that topic, if you have areas in your life that you want to improve on, then finding ways to educate yourself on those topics, to understand what people are doing that are making money in those topics, right? Look at the key players, whether they be public speakers, whether they be professors, whether they be people that write books and authors or whatever. Finding those people and identifying what they are intelligent on, what they have educated themselves on, and following those footsteps, learning what they know. That doesn't mean you're going to be as successful as them, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be as wealthy as them, but it means that you're trying to follow professional, successful people's footsteps because you know that's what they've done and that's the strategy that they followed. So to me, it was a pretty inspirational video or inspirational presentation that I wanted to take the time to make a video about today. So really what I took away from that short educational experience was that knowledge is key. And then really knowledge is power, and applying that knowledge. And I'm not talking about the knowledge that requires you to go out and get $100,000 in student debt, and that you end up paying on for 20 or 30 years. And I'm not devaluing institutional education either, because I do think that that has its purpose, and it does serve a very good purpose, and it is a good thing. But being more educated beyond what is just the general education and the general system that they encourage you, meaning, the general public or the system encourages you to take advantage of. This system of, I'm going to work for a corporation and I'm going to put X amount of money into my 401k and I'm going to retire at this age and follow this very traditional guideline. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're doing that, kudos to you, because it's not something I'm doing. I'm following more untraditional patterns, and I'm choosing to do that. But at times, I wish I did have some traditional patterns that I could follow as well. So I think there's positives and minuses to both. But really, the key there is to understanding that knowledge is key, knowledge is power, and understanding some of those specific skill sets and specific educations that can allow you to break out of some of those traditional barriers and really achieve far more wealth than you can just by following the pretty mundane system and the pretty mundane guidelines. So hopefully that provides a little bit of insight of what I learned at the seminar today. So again, I just want to make a short video. I'm going to be making some other videos tonight about cryptocurrency. We've got some good reviews coming up, craft brewery reviews. I've had some opportunity to enjoy lately. So I'm going to be sharing all that information with you guys as well. Again, my name is Corey Stones, real name Corey Moore, so AKA Corey Stones. If you like what you heard, if you like what you've seen, click subscribe, be a part of my YouTube community. All I'm doing here is trying to share information with you guys because I want somebody else to succeed. I want to share what I'm learning with someone else, take that information, and hopefully they can run with it and be successful. I'm not getting paid to do these YouTube channels, and I don't think anybody would pay me anyways. But I'm really here spending my time because I hope that if I can make a difference in somebody else's life, then that's worth it to me. So you guys have a good night, and look forward to seeing you around.